It's another Friday. This week I did it my way. I made lots of juice, New Year's cleanse, and now I feel the booze. Baby say, oh, it's the way I make my juice. Pressing fruits and roots. This week I did it my way. Baby say, oh, now let's have some fun. Cause there is nothing greater than Fridays at Goodnature.
Ow, ow, ow. Oh, man. I'm grinning ear to ear. That was amazing.
Oh, Charlie's dream come true.
Happy
Charlie,
New Year.
your first fan.
I love it. I love it. So you walking on clouds all day from that. Thank you for that. What's up, my juice lovers? Welcome to Goodnature Radio. This is your host, Charlie Wetlaufer, joined by the two top juice business consultants in the world, Chef Ari Sexner and Olivia Esquivel, and a very special guest today, the one and only Lynsay Connell, owner. Wait, is that not your last name?
No, you can drop the O. They dropped the O. The O was dropped many, many generations ago.
Lynsay Connell. All right, well, that wasn't as bad as I thought. I thought I got it completely wrong. Okay. Lynsay Connell, founder and owner of Norfolk Juice Co., based in Ontario, Canada, all the way across the border, but actually pretty close to Buffalo.
Mm-hmm, very close.
Have you been to Goodnature headquarters?
I have been there, yeah. Twice,
Nice.
I think. Twice.
Really?
Or once. Definitely been there.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you were treated well and you enjoyed your experience.
Yeah, it was
And,
absolutely wonderful.
Great. All right. So Lynsay Connell, founder and owner of Norfolk Juice Co. Ontario, has been in business for just over 2 years. Juice bar, smoothie bar, acai bowl bar. You also do grab and go items like avocado toast, and you do some juice delivery and all that good stuff. And Goodnature Radio is a weekly Friday podcast where the juicing industry comes to get help with starting and growing a juice business. Goodnature was founded in 1976 by my dad when he invented the commercial cold press juicer. What? Interested in learning about our complete turnkey packages for starting a juice business? Schedule a free 30-minute call with the Dream Team. It's like your own private podcast. Goodnature.com/radio. Of course, you can join in on the juicing discussion on the Goodnature Facebook group. Check it out and just search for Goodnature Juicing on Facebook. And of course, you can shop in bulk on the Goodnature Marketplace at goodnature.com. All right, let's get into it. I want to hear all about what it's like running a juice business in Canada. Can we talk about that first?
Yeah.
Do you sell juice wholesale in Canada without any restrictions?
Where I'm located in Ontario, I do wholesale juice and it's to cafes. I'm the one delivering it. So yes, I don't have the restrictions like other juice bars that in the States may have and other places in Canada as well. So it's not just where I am in my little Norfolk County. I'm not reaching outside of that county as of yet. But yes, I do wholesale, and that has been a great bulk of keeping us going throughout, through the quieter seasons in coming into the shop. So running a juice bar is so much fun because no one else is really doing it. And it's about 2 hours or so is the drive you'd have to take from where I am if you're going to reach any juice bar. But there's no one doing the really as great as acai bowls that we do in our smoothies. And that's just because, I had this wonderful consultation and I had a package with Olivia.
Nice.
Plug Olivia. But because
I'll Venmo you later, Lynsay. Thank you.
All right, good. Although Venmo doesn't work in Canada, we'll work something else. So nothing works in Canada.
Oh, man.
So, yeah.
Don't even get me started on
wonderful.
Amazon in Canada. It's the worst.
We won't get started on any of this because I don't want to hear a rant, right? No. It's running a juice bar has been a dream come true. We started in a very small shared space in a place called the Apple Place, and I just had goals to have our own brick and mortar. And we got that location last January, but actually opened it in May. So I haven't done one full year in our brick and mortar offering all of our goods of the smoothies, of the bowls, of the toast, because we were just really just doing juice. And we moved so quickly we started with the M1. In a month, I purchased the X1 Mini, and now I have the X1. And I don't even know where this story is going, but the juice bar here in Ontario, there's really no story. I'm just telling you the goods. Running it is a learning lesson. It's a passion project. I love every single moment of it. And it's something I highly recommend if anyone is listening and are like on the fence of should I open a juice bar in Canada or not. I'd say highly do it. Do it.
I would also say, like over and over and over, when we talk to potential clients, they're like, well, I don't really know though. There's nothing like it in the area. I'm not sure there's a demand for it. But what we hear again and again and again is that when you're the first juice bar in your area to open, it's almost always successful because there is a demand, even if it doesn't exist yet, and you can fill that demand. And it seems like that's the case with your location.
Yeah. And I got to test the market, the demographic. Everyone said here in Norfolk County, it's just a farmer's like land. You're not going to have anyone that's interested. When that's how you kind of change the way that you go into it, going, okay, well, we'll start with a sweeter juice and then slowly introduce more of the stronger juices, but make it a fun experience. What's the level of service you're putting into it? Why are you doing it? Make it educational. And that's what they enjoyed. And here we are 2 years in.
It's awesome. So where were you before you started the journey? Like what made you wake up one day and be like, I want to start a juice business?
It's something that Mom and I wanted to do. She is my business partner, and it's been over 20 years. She wanted to open a juice bar. She would tell the story so well, but tropical hut, she wanted to call it, and green juices were not a thing about 15 plus years ago. And so I was always doing human resources, and I would do healthy things for crew. I would juice for crew. I would do Vitamix drinks and create all these things on cruise ships, on land. And then I guess I really got my feet wet when I was transferred to Hawaii and then got to work at a juice bar on Kauai. And so when I saw the operation of that, then I came back to Canada in 2019 to be a flight attendant. Pandemic hit, bought a home, started a business. Here we are.
Wow. Interesting. It's quite the story.
But that's the long and the short. We only have a short podcast, However, it was just something that I always wanted to do and to bring health and wellness to others. And that's our goal with Norfolk Juice. But that's been my goal ever since I started doing healthier items.
Was the place you worked at in Hawaii a Goodnature customer?
They were not a Goodnature customer, but what they did on that juice bar was everything was fresh in Vitamix. So it was blended. However, you do have a Goodnature customer on Kauai. And I was very lucky just a month ago to go and have a back of house tour at said location. Am I allowed to say it?
Kauai Juice Co.
Yeah, Kauai Juice. So I had so much fun. Oh my gosh, at Kauai Juice and seeing their 2 X1s and then just showing me everything. And yeah, Crystal is wonderful at Kauai Juice.
Yeah, I met her in person once at a trade show, but I've never had the pleasure of visiting her in Hawaii. Not yet. I will someday, for sure. But yeah. So you started during the pandemic. Did I hear you right, basically?
Yes.
Or you started right before the pandemic?
No, I started in it. We opened November 1st, 2021.
Wow. And I know Ontario is pretty shut down.
Yes. Just because I think it worked really well with a retail space that it was shared. And it was just about pushing it in the community, finding the right collaborations with, I don't want to say local influencers, but those that know what they're doing. And doing little samples and getting people on board and excited. And again, showcasing something that was nothing like this was in the area. And so, I remember our first day, I'm like, the door opens and, people are coming in I was beside where they made donuts. And I smelled like a donut. It's just apples, donuts, and me and juice. And I was like, are they going to be for me? Are they going to be for me?
Aww.
And then it was, and we did are you for me? Are you for a donut? They'd be like, can you get me one? I'm like, okay, here you go. So just going back to it, it's been a wild ride, but it was yeah, in can't believe it. And we had to wear masks and oh yeah. Let's
Yeah,
not go back
Weird
to
to
that.
think back on it. Yeah.
And seeing the photos of it and just like how we have grown from that. And that's the biggest thing is like you look back and you're like, how do I keep evolving every single day? Or how am I working towards my goal? And what is next? And you never want to remain stagnant, but you're always looking at, okay, I can improve from here. I look at our bottles when we opened, we didn't even fill them to the top. Like there was this space. And I'm like, wow, cool. But there
Wait,
was
why
12
didn't you fill them?
ounces, right?
Oh, gotcha.
12-ounce
But Lynsay,
bottle, but I
Lynsay
think I filled
does
it less.
such a great job like connecting on social media. She's actually one of my favorite accounts to follow. And I'll never forget Lynsay. So she comes on every day, much like the Goodnature podcast song, and she'll tell everybody what day it is. She'll be like, I couldn't tell you what day it is today, but it's Monday, January 4th or whatever. And I'll never forget one day, Lynsay, you came on, and this is how you know people are really paying attention to your social media. She came on and she said the wrong day. Right. And she like goes about her day and she's like, okay, today, she said they're like the wrong date. She tells us what's going on in the juice bar or whatever. She comes back and she's like, oh my God, I am so sorry. Apparently I have caused an uproar in the town. I didn't know people were actually like knowing what day it was according to my stories, but many of you are now confused. Right, Lynsay, do you remember that? People were like DMing you like, what? Today's the 3rd? I thought it was the 4th. And it's like she's the morning wake-up call, but it's that consistency of showing up for her audience every single day. And I always try to remind people, like a lot of people get so intimidated by social media. And obviously Lynsay's got a great personality and she's so bubbly and, it just comes to her naturally. That's not the case for a lot of people. But the important thing is to just show up every single day in some form or fashion. Like any content is better than no content. And that's one of like the biggest lessons I've learned from Lynsay. There are days where like it was slow and cold and COVID and she was opening and she's like, just showing her personality and showing the ups and downs of the business. I think that just really makes you a real person to a lot of people. I get that a lot from my juice bar too, is like, like I posted a picture the other night that I was there till like 8:30 at night doing New Year's cleanses. And then another Goodnature client posted, they're like, oh, Olivia, we've got you beat. It's 2 a.m. And I'm like, well, that's because you're not in the next one, but just showing like, not just to your other fellow juice, people in the industry, but showing to your actual audience that like, this is a real person behind this brand. And like, we do the best we can, but show us grace. And thank you for coming along the ride with us. And I think that's one of the best things that Lynsay has done, for her brand. And you can see as she's grown from N1 to a mini, like that's because of the demand she has. So I'm really proud of you, Lynsay, for doing that. You're doing a really great job.
Thanks, Olivia.
That's such a tough task to do, is just go ahead and be natural, especially if you don't do it all the time, because you want everything to be perfect and you make a little mistake and you'll freeze. But
I will say, I think it's totally normal to feel uncomfortable on social media at first. You're like pointing the phone at your face and pretending to talk to people, but nobody's there. But if you just keep doing it, it just starts to become more and more natural. And pretty soon you can be yourself. And the internet's a big place. And like, no matter how awkward you think you are, there's going to be people that resonate with you. And you're going to get fans like, Lynsay knows my song. That's weird. That's like, but it's awesome.
I told you, he's still on a high. He is still on a high.
Charlie, I listened to the podcast and you've been wanting someone to sing along and no one's done it. So I thought, you know what, Charlie, what I'm going to do for you is
the
rock
gift that
out
keeps on
your
giving.
song. Yeah.
All right. Well,
it's
once it goes platinum, I'll sign the platinum record and I'll send it to you.
Can you write "ooh baby" on it? Ooh baby.
I think I can do that. I can manage that.
Best day of Charlie's life right here.
Yeah, I was
Move
impressed.
over, Beebs. Move over.
I wasn't expecting it to be that good, but I thought it was just going to be.
I'll say
cut out of the
actually,
episode.
there's another song I wrote that my friends like. It's a song about my love for doing karaoke, and I went to my friend's wedding in Hawaii. And they played the song at the wedding, and everybody was dancing to it. That was awesome.
Charlie.
Yeah, that was
We
fun.
had no idea that you were such an international superstar. We're humbled.
Yeah. Anyway, the point I was going to make is that people like to buy from people, not from like enterprise corporations, right?
Right.
And I think a lot of new business owners get caught up in like, oh no, we're a business. We have to come off as a business. We have to be professional and like corporate or whatever. No, that's not what people want. People want to buy from other people, not from like a logo. You know what I mean? So it's really just about getting out there, putting yourself out there, engaging. I mean, Lynsay, I know you're a JK Juice's fan. They did a great job at that. Fantastic job at, I mean, they're from this little town in Ohio, and they became like their number one known juice bar in America for doing all these videos just about running a juice truck. And they moved from a juice truck to brick and mortar. They're just always making videos, publishing content. So I think they did a great job with that. And that's like I think if you just put yourself out there, get on social media every day, people will resonate to it and enjoy it and probably be frequent at your business and follow you and want you to succeed.
Hey, Lynsay, can you tell us about when you jumped, like when you knew was the right time to jump from the M1 to the Mini to the X1? And like, I know it's like hindsight is 2020, but if you could like go back, would you still have gone that route, or would you have maybe missed one of those machines and gone to the next one? Like what was your experience? Because I know that we talked to a lot of people who, just they feel like the X1 is so big, but then we try to tell them about how much labor it saves you and all that. But I'm just curious, like, because your trajectory was pretty fast.
Oh, it was. I'm going to say the M1 is great if you are going to be doing small juicing, unless you're doing something fresh in front. And I know you talked about that in other podcasts. People are seeing it done. If anyone is really looking at, okay, I'm going to have my juice bar, I'm starting, and you don't have the space for an X1 yet, the X1 Mini, 100%. That one you can get so much done. See, M1, love it, but it was in the first month I had to purchase the X1 Mini. I didn't have to. I wanted to, because I knew that I was going to be producing more and I wasn't going to be doing 20 hours on the M1. So I just saw that there was a demand and I was like, okay, we're going to get right into that X1 Mini. It is wonderful. The X1 Mini now is what I do my shots on, where I used to do my shots on the M1, or I do small batch nut milks on my X1 Mini. And the X1 is a game changer. I want another one. Okay, so I want to have two. I want one for nut milks and I want one for doing my roots and fruits. It's like you say in the song there, Charlie. We'll bring it back to the song. So I would like that to be happening at like simultaneously, like, whoa. But I mean, I don't have that much of a space, but I could move things around. But I just knew that trajectory is like, okay, you're seeing what is the demand, how many bottles are you doing? And if you have more in the fridge, this is Olivia teaching me, and she's so right on this. Your fridge needs to be stocked, okay? Because when people see it, they buy it. And so having the grab and go cleanses ready to go, having the juice there, like they're like, wow. So when you're working on the X1, you're able to at least have that back stock, which is a little bit easier than on the X1 Mini. But again, you're looking at where you are in your business, or you're setting yourself a goal at 2024, I'm going to have an X1 come through the door. There's your rhyme. So just like,
man,
do I get one for this? Charlie, coming to me?
You can get a bag.
Yes, I will get
sorry,
a bag.
Charlie, I just misspoke. Maybe.
Signed
just
X1
kidding.
bag.
No. Signed X1 bag with the platinum record in it. So, but that trajectory was, I'm just seeing there is a demand, and how can I do that? And what is it going to be easier for me? Because now you're bringing in labor into the equation. Yeah. So where is it going to be profitable? And there's all these little steps that you learn as you're running your business. If you're just new or you're in the middle, it's always going back to reassess, and how is it going to be easier for you? How can you serve more people? But what, at the end of the day is going to be in the plus versus a minus.
Right. Yeah, I think you said it beautifully. Like, to me, that's the biggest difference too, is like, can the Mini get it done? Yes. But with the X1, it's like, are you ever going to be able to get ahead in the Mini? Right? Like, are you ever going to be able to like have that stock of juices, that the X1 could do? Like, that happened at our juice bar. I mean, I don't know if you did cleanses. I want to know if you did any New Year's cleanses, but we had hundreds a day going out. And the beauty of the X1, you know, we get to this point sometimes, and this happens to me with BOGO, and it happens with cleanses, and it happens probably to everybody else, but you can only store so much. Mm-hmm. So you've got to produce, and then you've got to wait for that to go out the door before you can bring more in. And there's always this like really uncomfortable 30 minutes of like, oh my God, nobody walked through the door. Like I'm at zero. Again, I need to push back up. But that happened the other day in our juice bar when we were pushing out cleanses, and we had 6 juices in the cleanse, and there was one that we were at 0 at, one of the juices. And I just was like sweating bullets. And I was like, how long until I can get the hippie lettuce? And he looked at me, right? And he's like, give me 15 minutes. And I was like, yes, because I knew that like I could stop anybody for 15 minutes. But it's just that feeling of relief to know that in 15, 20 minutes, I can get, 20, 40 juices out and be ready to go. Like that's just something that you could never do with a mini or an M1. And that's really probably where you start to see the difference between being able to have 2,000, 3,000, bigger days rather than staying in that $600,000, $1,200 range. Right.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And we did a New Year's cleanse.
Good.
Maybe I should have signed up for the cleanse with you.
Well, let's see. Like, what were your numbers?
Exactly. So we won't talk about it on the podcast. Can we sidebar that conversation?
Yes, we can edit it. But
just
goes to show you.
Keep it in here.
Just goes to show you. Sign up for cleanses, but. It's still early in the year.
The only thing I edit out is when I say something stupid. Everything else.
Yeah, no, he keeps all of our bloopers in.
Yeah. Oh no, I didn't want it edited. I was like, just sidebar. We'll talk about that. No, we have quite a few, and I did just this one day last year. I did a 3-day cleanse as our New Year's, and I wanted to make it more accessible. And I think that was the biggest thing: is fun and accessible. And we did the Aloha cleanse, and each one has a name of the island in Hawaii. I had a little fun doing it.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Cool. More to come.
The M1 has been such a point of frustration for us at Goodnature because we developed it to be a juicer for made to order juice, right? We're like, look, it makes 1 glass of juice, 16, 20 ounces, whatever. And you can change the parts out really fast to switch recipes and wash it really easily. And right on the M1 page, the first thing it says is meant for made to order juice, 1 glass at a time. And so many times people buy and like, this thing sucks. It's so slow. I can only make 75 bottles of juice. We're like, you're making 75 bottles of juice on that thing? So it's definitely been a point of frustration. But
yeah, it's worth the investment. And that's what I will say. And I know some people can look at what is the value of it? Yes, it's a higher entry point into the juice world. But when you look at what you're paying to what you will end up making in return, you could have that gone, paid off in 2 weeks, depending on what you're doing.
It's true.
2 weeks.
No, it's true.
It's yes, there's a bigger cost associated right at the front, but it is worth it. And it's worth every penny. And over here in Canada, I'm paying a US conversion to Canadian. So I'm 1.4% higher than Lucky US bars, which you get it for. Remember that.
Yeah. So you're in the X1 for businesses can literally pay for itself in a couple weeks. And then there's businesses that sell $1 million of juice a year in the X1, It's really crazy. Yeah. Sorry, Ari, I keep cutting you off. I think there might be a delay in your...
I think so. But
Hi, Ari.
You're I got a question, guys. So your area, your demographic is new to juicing. You said, is there anything really surprising in terms of specific items that you didn't think would sell that actually are selling, or vice versa?
No, not too surprising. But maybe more the demand for less sugar based or natural occurring sugar juices. So more on our celery, cucumber, carrot, beet, ginger, they want, or diabetic friendly. That is a big one. A diabetic friendly juice is what I've been having a lot of people coming in for. And also, they want to have a treat or a snack or whatever it might be. So I need to look more into that. But yeah, that surprised me is that they really want that healthy kick. And I would think that it would be all the sweeter juices, the more tropical,
mango,
fun ones.
pineapple, strawberry.
So that's what I found.
Is organic like a huge deal in Canada? Because what I've kind of found talking to a lot of other people is the US organic is extremely important, mostly because of a lot of our produce is really bad. And then outside of the US, it's like not that big of an issue because there's so many farmers that have organic practices already in place. And is that kind of similar to
It's organic, there's not a lot of organic options in where I am with Norfolk County, and we have organic produce. That's what we use. However, we go organic and local when possible, and then we'll go conventional if needed. So what I pride ourselves on, I don't say we're 100% organic, because you know what? We're not. We're pretty close to it. And I think people like that fact. Those that are a bit more educated, or that's the wrong word to say, they're educated in organic practices, because a lot of people throughout the pandemic moved from a big city into the country. So that's important to them because they were more aware of it. But you'll get farmers here, because we're in like fruit central. So our apple farms, I use local apples because they're grown here in Norfolk County. And you'll have farmers who will disagree to organic spraying practices, to conventional spraying practices, and that everything is pretty much goes through some type of processing or chemical activity. I don't even know how to put it, but organic is important, but not to the, I'd say, to the
Local's
extent
more
that you'd
important,
probably find in US.
most likely.
Local is really important.
Yeah. Okay.
And, our pineapples are far from local.
Right.
Less local to Costa Rica. But yeah.
I was like, what?
So they're not. I know. Olivia's like, what are you going to say today?
I'll say some restaurants and brands really sort of take liberty with the term local. They're like, everything's local within 400 miles. You're like, okay, is that local?
Yeah, right.
But we have great strawberries. Like in the summer, it's amazing here. Peaches, strawberries, asparagus, blueberries. There's even like pumpkins here, sweet potato. It's everywhere here. So
that's awesome.
It's like the bountiful summer of goods. And right now we're awesome. Like, here we go.
Yeah, winter's rough. But I don't know about you, Lynsay, but like I was just telling Charlie, like we had a really dreadful November and December, but it's really already starting to come up. I can see it. So it's like, oh, thank God, like, of course, New Year's helps, but just in general, like I'm seeing people come. I feel like more people were really holding on closer to Christmas, just not knowing what recession and everything was going to do. But I'm starting to see people come back. My regular starting to come back, and just daily activity seems better already than it has been November and kind of December.
I agree with you. We had the exact same experience. November and December were not like our best months. Well, definitely better than our last location.
Yeah.
But looking at that growth, it was just pretty stagnant. And now we're seeing it. And everyone was like going for treats and getting all the goodies. And now it's our Christmas.
Yeah.
Juice bars, it's our Christmas now.
That's right. That's right.
I like it. Yeah.
Awesome.
I'll notice headlines in the media can cause a lot of uncertainty in people. And for 2 months, it was all like recession, interest rates, mortgages, all this negative stuff. And now the headlines are like, guess what? Just kidding. Everything's actually fine.
Yeah, we're great.
Yeah, I know. It's like, sorry, everybody. There's actually no recession and everything's great.
Yeah.
Interest rates are coming back down.
Yeah.
Housing's improving. The CPI, the inflation's coming down. So I do think that matters a lot. It's just... It's not that a bad headline changes anything in someone's life. They just feel less confident about the future, which makes them less certain and less likely to go out and maybe spend some money on themselves, Yeah. So hopefully things are turning around for the better. I mean, Goodnature, equipment-wise, had a brutal November, December. So hopefully that turns around as well. I just think it's like, the interest rates being so high and talks of recession, always like, hey, now's a great time to start that juice bar I've always dreamed about. They're just kind of like holding on. So we're still getting lots of people contacting us, but I'm like, we're going to wait to see how things are in the spring and everything. So hopefully we're turning the corner there.
Yeah, we've had a really bad strain of like respiratory illnesses, at least going around our town, and I've heard that it's pretty much going around nationwide. So I would definitely be pushing, after you guys are talking about New Year's cleanses, I would definitely be pushing some immunity recipes, get with Chef Ari on that. But actually COVID, I always feel sort of guilty saying this, but COVID for us was the best time ever because we were so nervous, one, that we were going to get shut down, and two, that people would consider us an extra that they wouldn't be.
Mm-hmm.
But the opposite happened. They were just holding on to their health, and they were like, I will pay you whatever. I mean, I was selling $60 half gallons of, wellness shots. So, it's try to at least make lemonade out of lemons, if you will. And like, okay, if everybody's sick right now, then at least start like pushing the fact that we have a product that can help you get better. I mean, that's the realness of what we all produce. And so just try to, be cognizant of what's happening in your town and be sensitive to it, but also offer, something on your menu that helps. It's probably something you already have, but just talking about it in a way that you haven't talked about it before, positioning that juice or that bowl or that wellness shot or soup or whatever as, as a healer or as an immunity boost or whatever is really going to help increase your sales.
Yeah, that's a good point. The whole immunity thing. Yeah, when everybody was focused on immunity, the juice bars were just booming.
Yeah.
Now everybody's back focused on like the carnivore diet and protein.
Yeah. I mean, we even did an immunity cleanse at one point, and we took actually like our lowest selling juices, because our signature cleanse always says, well, we took our lowest selling juices and we just really pumped it up with, maca and a lot of vitamin C and stuff, and sold it as an immunity cleanse, helped to get those numbers up and get those out of the door. And that helped a lot. So be looking for things, little ways to kind of just take the same thing you're doing, but wrap a different, message around it and get it out the door.
Lynsay, is there anything you can think of that you wish you knew when you started the business that was like a really hard lesson to learn?
Oh yeah. It's in Canada, but the hardest lesson I would say is knowing what labor is. Mm-hmm. And coming in, when you are working by yourself, it's a whole different story. But when you start to grow your team, just knowing that in your mind and getting it and knowing your cost of goods, knowing that everything that you're doing is right where it should be for you to remain open, profitable, open, and just growing. So I'd say that is the biggest lesson I wish I knew going in from day one, is I had that trajectory like we talked about with juicers. I had that plan and I knew it. I just thought, oh, everything will just work. It's fine. I got this. But it's having that knowledge behind the scenes. And yeah, I think that is the biggest lesson that I learned along it. But it was when I was bringing in people
knowing your numbers.
Know your numbers.
Yeah.
Know your numbers, making sure that you are sourcing things that make sense, that you're not just throwing a bunch of items to have a full menu that's not moving. These are things that, I was really lucky to talk to Olivia about, is making sure just like narrowing it down, but also knowing what is your why and what is your focus on. So you can have all these big visions, because that's who I was. And I wanted to reach for everything, but it's like honing it in,
right?
Becoming really good at what you got. Yeah. Really good at what you got. Yeah. Then you can slowly start to build, but as long as you know your numbers and you know what it's working.
That's awesome. Hey, if anyone needs help knowing their numbers, reach out to Goodnature. Goodnature.com/radio. There's a forum there you can fill out, and we'll schedule a call. And Lynsay, thank you so much for coming on. This was fun. We'll have you on again soon.
Yeah.
Good luck in Canada and surviving the winter. Well, we're all going to be in Buffalo towards the end of January, so we're going to be suffering.
It's a quick little trip. If you want me to come over,
Lynsay. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
You should actually.
You should.
All right,
yeah.
it's done.
Yep.
Yeah, actually, follow up with me after this. I'll send you some details.
Oh my
that'd
gosh.
be fun. Cool. All right, thanks everybody. Peace
Bye,
out.
Lynsay.
Oh, yeah, you have to bring juice.
Yeah.
I made lots of
Bye, guys.
juice.
Bye.
Now I feel a boost. Baby say, oh, it's the way I make my juice. pressing fruits and roots. This week I did it my way. Baby say, oh, now let's have some fun. There is nothing greater than Fridays at Goodnature.